So you said that you work third shift and you've been having some challenges lately with getting up in the afternoon and spending a lot of time on the couch.
Yeah.
And that's problematic for you.
I would say so.
Can you tell me a little bit about why that's a problem?
Well, I think I get kind of into a, not really a rut, but I get just kind of used to sitting on the couch and not doing the daily things that I need to do. Just kind of the way that my schedule is oriented some days. And I feel like that not only is a hamper to things around my household, but kind of negatively impacts me emotionally and physically.
So I think it's great that you're able to see how that kind of impacts you as a whole, and maybe even your family system. You mentioned your household. So I actually kind of thought today that we could run through a couple activities that would help me understand better about kind of, your challenge with spending a lot of time on the couch, and also just kind of to help you see maybe what behaviors that you are able to do that you feel like are positive and that give you good energy throughout the day. So do you feel like you might be up for a couple activities?
Yeah, hi.
Okay, so this first one, as you can kind of see, looks a bit like maybe a diagram or a map, and it's got some headings. And so the first one, talking about behavioral, and since the main challenge that you're coming to see me about is spending several hours a day on the couch, I thought maybe we'd start there with laying on the couch as the behavior. Do you feel like that's a good place to start?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start there. So when you're laying on the couch, what's going on with your body physically?
Well, I'm not really moving around too much. My heart rate's low. I guess kind of like, well, as a whole, my body processes slow down. Um, Not getting that much stimulation.
Okay. So it sounds like you're spending a lot of time just staying still. You mentioned a low heart rate, kind of not a lot of stimulus, moving slowly and just kind of being there. Okay. So, while all that's happening and you're just kind of in this maybe sedentary, still place, what kind of thoughts are you having? What might be going through your head in that time?
Well, I'm usually mentally preoccupied. I mean, I'm just watching TV, so I guess
you watch TV?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you can call it being mentally preoccupied, but I think after a while, I start kind of thinking about, hey, I shouldn't be doing this, or really start getting stuff done. But then there's some days when it's hard for me to kind of push past that barrier. So as I continue to go on, I get a little bit more anxious. I mean, I'm not going to get stuff done around the house that I need to do, or I start feeling kind of bad about myself that I haven't been able to get up and get done what I need to do. So.
Okay. It's interesting that you were able to connect kind of those thoughts to feelings, because that's the next portion of this diagram that we're working on. A couple things that I pulled out that you were talking about, maybe some specific thoughts, or I need to get some stuff done, or I'm not going to be able to get anything done if I stay here. Would you say that that's about accurate? Those are kind of thoughts that are going through your head?
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that you might start feeling a little anxious.
Mm-hmm.
What other kind of emotions or feelings do you experience when you're on the couch and when you're thinking these things, like I'm not going to get things done?
I mean, kind of like a gloomy feeling. I wouldn't say like sad, but kind of just like a little bit less than happy.
Okay.
Somewhere between happy and sad, just kind of like indifferent. And,
yeah. So I just kind of wanted to show you kind of how you see the arrows, and how the behavior is then connected to the thoughts, is connected to how your body is physically reacting, is connected to your emotions and your feelings that you're experiencing in that moment. and they all kind of just create this cycle or circle, which sounds like you're experiencing when you're getting, like you had mentioned earlier, stuck on the couch and kind of like feeling like you just can't make yourself get up. Does this kind of make sense to you? Do you see the connections?
I think it's a little bit easier when you see it on paper to see how it all kind of connects together.
Yeah. Okay. And I know that you mentioned earlier getting stuff done. I guess maybe would you mind telling me a little bit more about maybe what that means to you?
I like doing things around the house, not only because it helps the house be better, but I think it kind of get enjoyment out of fixing things and taking care of things. So kind of like that, like chores or projects around the house, stuff like that.
Okay. So that sounds great. It sounds like something that you like to do and that you sometimes maybe have time for, but sometimes the getting stuck on the couch might prevent you from doing that.
Yeah.
So the next activity, as long as it sounds like something that you would be willing to try, is actually looking at your whole day from when you wake up to when you go to sleep. And it kind of breaks it down into maybe hour or 2 hour increments, and then looks at, what specific activity did you do for that hour? And within that activity, then thinking about what sense of achievement or sense of, this was great, I was productive, I got something done, did you get in that hour? And then also, what was your sense of enjoyment? Was this fun? Was this exciting? Were you happy during that hour? So for each activity, we'll rate your sense of achievement and your sense of enjoyment on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, I didn't get any achievement or enjoyment out of this, and 10, this is, the most achievement I feel, the most enjoyment I feel. This is a great thing. So the first thing I'll notice in this, and I apologize for not having it personalized for you before you came in here, is that this activity is pretty much set up for someone that maybe has a typical, 8 to 5, 9 to 5 type job, when they wake up at 6 and go to bed at 10 to midnight. But it sounds like you have pretty much that exact opposite schedule with the third shift life, right?
Yeah.
So we will personalize this for you as we go through. And do you mind if we just look at what your day was yesterday?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. So what time of day do you normally wake up? Because that's maybe where we will start.
Yesterday, I woke up around 3.
3, okay. I'm actually going to have you fill this out for yourself, if that is okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is this. So maybe we'll start in this first block and we'll, say 3 to 4 p.m. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you do between 3 and 4 yesterday?
Well, I guess I just got up and went and sat down on the couch and started watching TV.
Okay, so however you'd like to write that, however that makes sense for you. Couch/TV. And so then we'll practice rating here on a scale of 1 to 10. What sense of achievement did you get out of that activity from 3 to 4 yesterday?
Very little.
Okay.
I'd say 1 or 2.
1 or 2? Okay. And then what about your sense of enjoyment?
Initially during this hour, probably like a 7.
Okay. Is that because you were watching TV like you mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. So then if you move on to the next box, kind of how this is set up, that would be from 4 to 5 then, if we woke up at 3. So what did you do yesterday from 4 to 5?
Same thing as the previous hour.
Okay. Okay. And then would you go ahead and rate that? So it looks like your enjoyment went down a little bit in that second hour.
Yeah, I think the longer that I spend there, like I was talking about earlier, how I start getting more anxious and kind of having some negative thoughts about how I'm just kind of sitting here not doing anything that is productive or useful.
Okay.
So I think that starts coming in the longer I sit there.
Okay. So then did you continue that from 5 to 6 yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did your enjoyment stay about the same or go lower?
It started going lower.
Even lower. Okay.
Like I said at the beginning, it was about a 7, and by the end, it was about a 3 or 4.
Okay. So by the end, you said around 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you did get off the couch yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you do at 6?
Well, my spouse came home, and I guess that might have spurred me into a little bit of activity, but I did some laundry that had to be done.
Okay.
And just kind of there's some odd and random things around the house.
Okay. Well, I'll let you write that activity however you'd like. It sounds like maybe laundry or chores. And then what was your sense of achievement doing that?
A lot.
Yeah.
Well, substantially higher.
Okay.
I'd say like a 5 or a 6.
Okay.
And about the same for enjoyment, I would say, because I was actually starting to get something done.
Okay. So then, what about the next hour? What happened after that?
Well, we started making dinner and getting everything ready for that.
Okay.
And then I'd say my achievement for that is probably like a 7.
Okay.
And basically about the same for enjoyment.
Sounds like you might like to cook.
Yeah, I do.
Together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then, maybe after you had dinner, what happened there in that next hour?
Well, then we usually spend time together. Some of that's sitting down on the couch and we watch some TV shows that we like together. So it's back to the couch, but I feel like that's a little bit more enjoyable because it's a shared experience.
Okay.
I don't think the achievement, I guess, sense of achievement probably wouldn't be too high, maybe like a 2 or a 3, but it's higher than what it is when I'm alone on the couch when I'm at home.
Mm-hmm. And then your enjoyment?
About a 7.
Okay. So then, getting later into the evening here, kind of what happened yesterday after you guys watched TV for an hour, or what did you say you talked on the couch?
Yeah.
Okay.
This would be about 9 o'clock, so kind of that. It's kind of take care of some other little odds and ends around the house, and then I was getting ready for work. Packed, got my dinner for the night ready, got all my work stuff together, took a shower, shaved. So I guess just got ready for work.
Yeah, you could put all that in there. So what kind of sense of achievement do you get every day when you do that hour of prepping for work?
Maybe like a 5.
Okay.
Maybe like a 3 or 4 as far as enjoyment.
Okay. And then you have an 8-hour workday.
I guess you could say it's more like a 9-hour with travel time and everything.
Okay.
But yeah.
So, for today's purposes, for kind of understanding work, do you feel like maybe throughout the course of your workday you feel the same sense of achievement and enjoyment, or do you feel like it varies throughout the night?
I would say it definitely varies throughout the night.
Well, we can break it down more then. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe start at the beginning of your shift. How do you feel achievement and enjoyment wise?
Well, I guess at the beginning it's usually a lot higher than it is toward the end, just because you're getting in. I guess you're more focused and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to mark that down?
Yes, that would be great. Yeah.
So I would say maybe like 7 or an 8.
Okay. And then what about enjoyment?
Probably like a 5 or 6 for last night.
Okay. And then you said as the night goes on, maybe the sense of enjoyment and achievement both go down, or just enjoyment?
Well, kind of as the night drags on, and I kind of get more tired and everything, I think they both kind of start lowering there toward the end.
Okay.
my want to not be there gets a lot higher toward like 4 and 5 a.m. So yeah, I would definitely say that productivity or my achievement and enjoyment are definitely a lot lower than that.
Okay. So then, when you get off work, what happens? Do you kind of go straight to bed, or do you do anything else in between sleeping and work?
Well, I get home and let my dog out.
Okay.
And I guess something that I'm guilty of is being on my phone kind of for probably a little bit longer than what I should do.
Okay.
I think maybe that comes back to the whole kind of like sitting on the couch and watching the TV and kind of like being drawn into a screen in a sense.
Okay. So maybe let's do that last hour, spending some time on your phone, your sense of achievement and enjoyment.
Probably like a 3 or a 4.
Okay.
And probably about the same for enjoyment. I mean, I'm happy to be home, but I'm also kind of like tired and exhausted, both mentally and physically.
For participating and kind of writing out your day yesterday, I just wanted to take a couple minutes here and kind of look at the different activities that you had, and it looks like maybe your lowest sense of achievement is that time on the couch, which makes sense because that's what you're coming in for help.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of your highest and maybe even your highest sense of enjoyment also seems like cooking, spending time with your spouse, and just doing chores and odd jobs around the house. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like maybe what we need to start working on moving forward is finding time in your day and finding maybe strategies for fitting in more of those types of activities rather than, the larger chunks of sitting on your phone or on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And also I would like to maybe revisit this next time and look at, how your body, your emotions, your thoughts, and your behaviors kind of change when you do those types of activities as far as maybe projects around the house or spending time with your spouse, so we can look at the differences. So for next time, I think what I would like you to do between this section and next is to take these next 3 days and do what we do. And kind of break your day down from beginning to end and talk about your activities and rank those senses of achievement and enjoyment, and we'll kind of revisit that next time and start working on strategies for incorporating some of those more higher ranked activities into your days. Okay, sounds great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.